Earlier this year, I saw Hoppers, a film I had relatively high expectations for, and found myself kind of astounded that I ended up enjoying it as much as I did still. I found the film to not only look great and be a ton of fun, but I also thought it was relatively emotionally resonant. I liked that Pixar was doing something new. Weirdly, I was somewhat dreading their second film this year though, and the subject of this video, Toy Story 5. I say weirdly because I enjoyed Toy Story 4, and all signs point to this one at least being fine. I don't think any of these Toy Story films have been anything less than that. My apprehension came from revisiting this well for the 5th time, and how long they could keep just doing these films without it feeling just too tired. Well, I'm here to say, they still got it, to an extent. Toy Story 5 is the 5th installment in the Toy Story franchise, Pixar's most notable and successful series of films. Toy Story 5 follows our toys after the departure of Woody. Jessie now finds herself as the head of the bedroom, with Buzz as her second in command. Bonnie is struggling to make friends, and then given a new tablet, Lily Pad, to help her connect with her classmates who also use tablets. The toys panic as their meaning and value to Bonnie is more questionable than ever, and the new friends in her life seem not so great. While one can easily argue that the decision to tackle the burgeoning presence of tech and the waning interest in toys in children's lives was a path chosen more out of a desire to continue the Toy Story franchise rather than an actual interest in discussing these issues, it's where they arrived, and I think it's an interesting thing for this franchise to discuss. Both 3 and 4 weirdly contended with mortality, even 2 does to an extent. But this franchise is no stranger to the idea of death, or more specifically, growing up, which could basically be interpreted as death for a toy. Growing up is scary, and I can't deny that many of the sappy child sad scenes got to me for that reason. I think Bonnie gets much more of an actual arc in this movie, and I was really rooting for her. But what makes Toy Story so special, and something David Ehrlich really highlighted in his review, is that Toy Story is as much for the parents as it is for the children. This is, to my memory at least, the most the parents have been involved in one of these films, and that's because in the narrative of Toy Story, the toys are almost always the parental figures. That's really highlighted here. The parents appear more, but are pretty flawed. The film does sort of gloss over it, but their first solution to Bonnie's problems are an iPad. Feels like it's saying something. Jessie and Buzz and the rest of the gang are flawed too though. They each at points battle with the idea that they are irrelevant and useless to their children now. That tech is allowing them to grow up without the usual assistance needed. That is one thing I both like and dislike about this movie. It isn't just blindly anti-tech and the iPad, it recognizes that with moderation, these devices can assist children, and with the appearance of more analog or early stage children's tech, the intention really was to help them. However, it is one of those things that, much like Hoppers, finds itself landing as just an empty resolution to me. Not fully committing to either side makes it feel a little less impactful. However, for what this film is going for, it does work, and I really like that this is firmly a girls' movie. It's about Bonnie and being a young girl. Jessie takes center stage, and her relationship to her original owner is a key part of Jessie's arc in this movie. Jessie taking charge and driving the plot gives this movie a lot of energy it might not have had otherwise. While Jessie has been a big player in these films, this is weirdly the most solo focus of the series. Even more than 3 and 4 are about Woody to an extent, this is Jessie's movie. But I don't have a crazy amount more to say about the character arcs of this movie, I just like how different they felt. If you're going to keep making these films, they should feel fresh, and in many ways, this film does feel quite refreshing. This is a movie about connection, and the sort of fears or struggles that come with connection, especially as a young child. Our character's goal from the beginning of the movie is to help Bonnie make friends. We come to see that Bonnie doesn't connect in the ways that other girls her age do, that she still plays with toys, while many have jumped to mobile games in chat rooms. A lot of the corner cutting I discuss is done here, but it's fine. The movie approaches this in a really sensitive and intentional way in my opinion, and is really gentle with Bonnie and her feelings. Many of the character arcs, like they are in all of these Toy Story films and parent movies, are about wanting Bonnie or the child to be happy above everything else, and I just think it pulls that off really well. In general though, much of the side characters and even major players like Woody and Buzz are relatively sidelined in this movie. Woody shows up for kind of no reason other than to just be like, hey guys, here's Woody, which I like Woody, but considering the character has had 2 send-offs, if you're going to bring him back, you can give him a little bit more to do. Like I said, I like that this is the Jessie movie and she is the main character, but it does feel like they could have fit a bit more of a Woody and Buzz arc into there, especially because their scenes together are still quite fun. I really enjoy when they first sort of show down with the lily pad. That sequence is really great and lets the two play off each other in this really funny way. They do have a conflict with role and being in charge, which on paper has worked and sounds like it should work again, but in execution kind of felt unearned to me. In many ways, I was missing the wonderful ensemble feeling of these films. Part of this might have been the fact that much of the original cast has now passed away, and their pool of side characters is only growing. There's 4 new pretty major entries this time alone, but I wanted a little more of the other characters' perspective and feelings, just a tad bit. They kind of literally and figuratively get shelved for a lot of this movie. The movie cuts a lot of corners to keep this thing not only under 2 hours, but to sort of shortcut their way to a few kind of different character and general thematic payoffs. I understand this is a kids movie about talking toys who have boarded a movie plane, but there are a few moments of this movie that do ask you to just kind of accept that a jump in logic or things that don't really make sense have happened. But considering it almost fully lands those emotional payoffs, I wasn't bothered by it all that much, and I doubt children will be. I should note all of the voice performances in this were quite good, like they usually are. I think the children who voice Bonnie and the new girl in the picture, Blaze, do a pretty great job. It's genuinely impressive child performances. The main cast of toys are all as good as they've always been. I think Joan Cusack getting the spotlight really highlighted how good she is in this role. She really stands out from the other 2 lead performances, and like I said, gives these films a much needed switch in energy and tone. I loved Conan O'Brien as the poop assisting toy. Craig Robinson was pretty great as the GPS hippopotamus, and I thought Shelby Rabar did a good job as the digital camera. Greta Lee is the most prominent new addition though, as Lily Pad, and she is just great in this film. I've always loved Greta Lee, and she's just so much fun here. Lily Pad isn't the best Toy Story villain, but Greta Lee helps to give her some really great moments and really endears you to the character. Also, much like many of the other characters, Greta Lee is really funny in this movie. A lot of the humor is simple and quick for children, but the jokes aren't all cheap and do feel well thought out and earned. Including most of the jokes with Lily Pad, just in general really landed for me. Even though I mentioned Buzz being a bit sidelined, and while main Buzz isn't as prominent as he usually is, this movie once again nails the Buzz Lightyear gimmick. Toy Story is really good at finding new ways to make Buzz really interesting and whatever's going on with him feel fleshed out and fully explored, and this movie does that just incredibly well. I won't spoil what the Buzz gimmick here is, but whenever they pulled it out, I and the group of people I saw it with were all really into it. It's so much fun. I really like how it's tied into what the movie is saying thematically too, and how much fun they allow themselves to just have with the concept. I can't express enough how great I found this to be. Of course, this movie looks incredible, as basically every Pixar film has. What really got me were the imagination or playtime sequences in the movie. It takes this incredible pastel and soft approach to the animation. It heightens things in a way that allows the animation team to really go wild and up the expressiveness and color palette as much as they can. There are 4 or 5 of these sequences in the film, and each one really grabbed me. I cannot stress to you how great some of these look. It really feels like Pixar has the fastball still when they whip one of these out in the movie. I am continually impressed by the ways that Pixar not only continues to make projects that amaze me visually, but do so while maintaining such an iconic and recognizable style. There's been a discussion for a good bit now on whether or not Pixar has fallen off. While I've always enjoyed at least some of what the studio is putting out, I can't deny that it has been a somewhat low period for them. Lightyear and Elemental are far from their best entries, and even before that, there were a plethora of unnecessary sequels that people just did not like. I don't think it was totally unfair for people to question the state of Pixar, but 2026 has shown me at least that they still got it. With this and Hoppers, Pixar has shown that even if they aren't as flawless as they may have been during their heyday, they still understand how to make a good movie, and they can still find something interesting to mine out of these toys. I'm not going to go to bat and say this is one of the best movies of the year, or even one of the best of the franchise, but I think it showed why they and everybody else keeps coming back to Toy Story, and why I'll probably continue to love these movies. That's going to do it for this one though, so as always, thank you for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing, follow me on Letterboxd and Substack, and go watch Toy Story 5.